Hi, welcome back. My name's Newman and this is my life with plants. Today we're going to be watering my cacti collection. It's been 3 weeks since I watered last time. Once again, I live in a tropical area in Japan. They can have very dry weather and we can also have humid, damp weather during the summer. But for the most of it, we've had some very dry, sunny, hot days and the cacti are up for a good watering. There's an echinopsis here. If I pick it up, it's very light, so it's used all its water reserves up in the pot. And normally I wouldn't water if we're going to have such extreme heat every day. So the temperatures typically get up to about 36, 37 degrees. And that's over 95 Fahrenheit. We're going to be getting 3 rainy days with cooler temperatures, and that is ideal timing to water. Why? Gives the cactus time to absorb the water that they get, and cooler temperatures means that they can drink and rehydrate better. Anyway, let's get on with it. Here's my 9-liter watering can. Ammonium sulfate in there. That's what triggers their growth. Okay, so I'm going to take this off because I don't want to waste any water. And here we go. Start with this mammy up here. I give them a lot. See this one? How much water am I going to give it? It's going to be pouring out the bottom. This is for the smaller pots. Yeah, running out the bottom now. One's next. Trichoceros Specialis. Look at that. This is a puntia that's starting to wrinkle up because it hasn't had any water for a while. It's put out 2 new pads. I'm going to give it a bit more water than that. Yeah, there we go. And put the rose head back on. It's one of these biggest specimens. Just have to mind that I got a 9-liter watering can while I'm holding this camera. It's pretty heavy. One arm. You can hear that water going in. Next ones will be at the back. You can see one that's been grafted. The one has a split in the epidermis. That would be because during the winter season they go without water for most of the 3 to 4 months. So the epidermis gets very tough, which means that when you're starting to rehydrate them, they split. But I have to do it that way, so they survive the cold temperatures to go down to -8, which is 17 Fahrenheit. You can even get even colder than that. Now, ironically, I'm going to water this a lot less because it's a bigger pot and it can absorb more water, and I don't want it to reached the point where it's got too much water absorbed into the medium here because it's such a huge pot. I want them to use it all up, because having such huge pots in my climate and watering that thing to its maximum, to it's absorbed, till it's got to the point where it can absorb no more water, you're looking for rot issues. So that's why I just give enough. If you want to know why, it's the tropical zone I'm living in. Okay, next are all of these ones here. But before we do that, this is the result of my growing this year. You can see that they're offsetting a lot. It's a nice beautiful green, nice healthy, strong cacti. Remember, I've been using ammonium sulfate. Does that weaken their growth? No, because ammonium sulfate gives them instant accessibility to nitrogen, whereas if you have them in ordinary soil, the ordinary soil has a lot of microbes in it that do the work to make nitrogen, if you see what I mean. And I don't know about you, but you may have cacti that are stunted with growth and they just don't start growing at all. Then you want to use ammonium sulfate to get them going again. It will not weaken their epidermis or anything. In actual fact, it makes them stronger and bigger and more able to take up the minerals that are present in the soil, which are the calcium and magnesium and iron and sulfates. I mean, look how beautiful these ones are. You couldn't get any better. Look at that. Very healthy. Hard as a rock. That epidermis is hard and thick. Okay. Next I'm going to water these troughs, which I forgot to mention. And over to here. So I'll be back in a sec. Ammonium sulfate. This is about a teaspoon. 1, 2, 3. It's about 4 per. Oh, I only got a half that one. It's about 4 or 5 in this 9-liter watering can, and that brings the pH down to about 5.5, something like that. This stuff melts. It dissolves quickly in water, so no problem. This is what I have to do over and over and over to water my plants. Okay, next to these troughs, I'm going to water these a little more than that big monster pot there, because it's shallow, the soil. There we go. These are like my stock plants. My stock plants that I like to trade with, sell. It was looking really good. This Echinopsis here. It's looking good. So you might wonder what that is, and these are Trichoceros hoasha. Oh, it's getting a nice offset right there. Okay, come in from the other angle. Right here. Whoop, didn't work. Okay. Sheet cloth is a must in this extreme hot weather. And the reason why is because the sun is angled so that they are getting maximum direct sunlight now during the months of August, and that is a little bit too much for them. A little bit too much. It causes them to get burns. And this one here, or these ones. Oh look, got a euphorbia. Enormous. I kind of like that one. I don't want to get rid of it. The evidence of ammonium sulfate is in the pudding. And you see the scar tissue. That's when this pore, Gymnocalycium denudatum, was struggling to grow. And when I hit it with ammonium sulfate, it brought it back to life. And all that fresh green is the results. This one is thrown off so many offsets after giving it ammonium sulfate. It's also rooted much better, much healthier. Had more flowers than ever. And I'm an advocate for watering your cacti really well, but not too often, because they have a special root system. Their root system comprises of special like hormones, so you could call them hormones, that send the trigger from the plant to search for water, which makes their roots deeper and stronger. Because if you keep them moist all the time and they don't get the chance to do that, they have a weaker root system. You can see here that I'm a big fan of Echinopsis. So I grow a lot of them. This is an Echinopsis subenormis, is that right? Been growing really well. I've got two of those, and this is a Gymnocalycium saglionis, as you know. It even gets rainwater every now and then. And when the rain comes in on an angle, you'll get some fresh rainwater. These are Echinopsis Morning Glory hybrids. Not sure what this one is, and not sure what that one is, but the flowers are definitely different. And this is more Trichoceras huarchus, up for sale, up for trade, whatever I may do. Okay, next to the big tables where my main collection is, so stay tuned. Okay, in case you missed that, you can see this spoon here, 2 grams, so it's on the 2 gram side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll put a bit more because that was half a spoon of ammonium sulfate. That'll bring the pH to about 5.5. And fill it up with water again. City water is about 7, and that's alkaline, which does nothing for cacti. You gotta have the acidic water, because in their home habitat the rain is acidic. It helps the stubborn minerals within the substrate to be able to be absorbed by the cactus, which they need to make a good epidermis, strong tissue, and flower well. And next I'll be watering all these cacti, and that 9 liters is heavy, and I gotta lift it, you know, above my head. So I'll be putting the camera down for this one. We're going to be able to lift 9 liters up with one arm. Here we go. I'm going to water this really well. Water going in. Into cactus. Cactus Horstii purpureus. He's starting to rush out the bottom now. Next one is this Mammillaria here, Purbella. Water in. And that drip off there is actually going down into other pots, so they're getting soaked. Purbella's never done better after changing to ammonium sulfate. When this gets a bit lighter, I'm going to bring you along. But for now, the pot's heavy. Watering can. I'm watering a Neopotria nervosa here. It's bone dry. Next, Mammillaria, Vetula subspecies gracilis. Next one, Hematocanthus. This one needs really good watering. It's in a very, very free draining substrate, that's for real. Vispostoa lanata. Next, Mammillaria gracilis. Cactus McDowellii. Another Hematocanthus there. That's a lot of water. Jamaicalycium Ivanovici. This one is Ferrocactus Cactus. I bring you along now. I will. I'm watering these guys here, see? Look at that. Mammillaria Purbella. It looks so healthy this year. Mammillaria Mystax. Neopotria nervosa. Mammillaria. Vetula subspecies gracilis, my big Hematocanthus. My ever-growing Vispostoa lanata, my huge old Cactus McDowellii. Water. Water plenty. Mammillaria Humboldtii, variety Cispitosa. This is a Trichoceros huasha, and this thing will be coming down this winter to go down there to have a harder winter without any protection at all, because that's what it needs. That's what it needs. And down the bottom there, Niagara Falls. Into there, to that Matakana there. Here's one that likes the water. Nodo cactus Laninghausii. It is thirsty. So you can have a lot of water then. I'm going to wait till that water runs out the bottom and I'm done. In actual fact, I could do with even more water than I've been giving it. This is a Labivia species that has been flowering really well for me. I like it. It's a Mammillaria albilus minus Echinophostular cactus. Ran out of water, have to go back and get more. Yep, just used up 9 liters. So I will be back in a minute. Okay, so you guys are gonna have to watch from here because the big watering can is hard to carry while I'm filming. Alright. On it goes. Prolifera. Yellow cactus bicolor. I tried out liming the soil. I limed it with this prolifera and it likes it. It's doing well. I'm afraid the camera might have dropped down. There we go. These are Mammillaria elongatas. We're getting a good water. This is Mammillaria albilinata that I've had for a number of years. It's in a very, very free draining mix, so I've got to make sure that I really saturated it. Otherwise it will not grow. What's that? It's the maintenance on these Mammillaria elongatas. It's an all dead stems, and I clean them all out. All right, next. Mammillaria mystax. Another kind of Mammillaria that I've gotten to tag. This one is Asia pensis. Cactus glossescens, which loves a good watering. Very good watering, likes it. That is another glossescens. Mammillaria mama. Puna. Onier. Gymnocalycium. Seglionis. Next up, some more Mammillaria prolifera. Cactus magnifica. One I just watered there is a Matacana Oraspina. And it's starting to get its shape back now. It was quite elongated, now it's starting to get a nice round form to it, which is what I want. Big old Gymnocalicium Siglionis there. Another Saraswasha, Cylindro puntia, something or other monstrous. Give them a good water. Better bring you here. We're starting to get out of the screen. It's just watering this one here. See? Next is Mammillaria grusoni. I'm gonna water it well. Being a mammy, it wants its water. It wants it thorough. Look at that. This one is Cactus emerii. Give that one a good watering too, since it's been so dry. This is the Labivia. It starts with, last name starts with S. I've forgotten it. Let's get to make a tag that plant. Okay, I'll be back in a minute for the next part of the watering. We're back. It is so hot. It's so hot. Dear. It's been so hot this year, I can't help but keep saying it. Right, look at this. Hybrids. Back to you. Try to turn around. Whoa! Narrow space. Next one. It's a nice gymnasium. Oleanum. Correct. Nice fat one. That one is Wigginsia Aerolacea. Chemaceros hybrid. Camelobivia. There's an array of cacti in there. And that one. I'm giving myself a one-arm workout. Just my right arm. What I'm doing now is just making sure that everything got water. Now, I was up to another gym there, Seglionis. Got too many of them, because I like them, that's why. Back to this Bolivia that starts with S. Here is a this one through. This is Arachnacantha, Bolivia Arachnacantha. That place has beautiful yellow flowers. Pinecone cactus, Tephra-cactus articulatus enormous. That's a nice new branch. This is Sphaerocactus, Batis venus, Mammillaria glacia, and this one is Sclerocactus, Unicactus. Very thirsty. Mammillaria, or Parodia, sorry, Mammilosa. Very thirsty. There you go, the big drink. Drink for you. Good enough. Whoa. We're about halfway there, because we still have another shaft behind me. We're going to be giving this one some water, and that is Notocactus claviceps, another kind of Notocactus. They mind more water than the average cactus. They can be overwatered like anything else, but once they have dried out, you can give them another water, no problem. They love tropical. They love it. Anything an orchid would grow in, except plenty of airflow, free draining substrate, plenty of water. It's one of my grafts. See that one? Trichoceros hybrid I did that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of flower it has. And it's something I don't want to water anymore, really, because I think it's plump enough. Just move this down. Oh, well, I could give it a bit of water. That's my extra fat. Phosphorus. So it's a bit spongy, so you know what, give it some water. It's in a very, very super draining mix, actually. Very, very well draining mix. So it doesn't get overwatered, right? Well, these are the seedlings I grow of a Opuntia rufida, or wheel cactus, because those pads look like big steering wheels, or wheels of a car. And they are getting along pretty good now. It was a hard transition between being a seedling and getting them out into the atmosphere. They tend to do a bit of rotting at the base, and once they do rot at the base as a seedling, it's pretty easy with an Opuntia seedling just to let it dry for a day, put it back into the substrate, and away it'll grow again. I'm going to give them some water because they are actually growing pretty well now. she'll make nice cacti in the future. Yeah, I'll be back again to water this shelf with lots of special beauties on here. Stay tuned. Time to have a look at some cacti before we move on. Now that is one healthy Gymnocalycium baldianum. And this thing was lost all its roots because I had overwatered it, and how to overwater a Gymnocalycium baldianum has no difficulties whatsoever. Anyone can do it, and it's just not letting it dry out and then watering it again. You got to make sure that it's pretty dry before you water it. Every 2 weeks, even in this extreme 95-degree heat, let them dry out before you water them again. It doesn't do them any good. If you think your cacti are getting too hot, right, then you put up some shade cloth and you move them to a shadier area, but do not increase the watering. It's not how they live in nature anyway. And when they do get their water, it's rainwater, isn't it? So that, of course, when it rains it gets cooler. So I don't recommend watering while you've got persistent temperatures that are getting close to 100 Fahrenheit, and you're going to water them, because then they'll boil, you see. So you're going to make sure that you have the much cooler evenings if possible. So we're looking at, 5 to 6 degrees less, or even more would be preferable. But if it's really hot at night without much of a difference, and you're looking at the hundreds, then you better be careful with watering. You can cause rot. Okay, we're going to get on with this bench here, and it's got lots of special cacti on it, so let me get it ready first. So before I do any watering, let's introduce them. Who's going to get watered today? Canthocalycium spiniflorum variety violaceum. Nice big old specimen up here. My big Haematocactus setaspinus will get watering. Got to make sure I don't catch my finger on those fish hooks. This mammillaria, that you'll recognize it because it gets long and pendulous, kind of like a big old snake. Yeah, over here. Copiopoa hypogea. It has lots of offsets. This is Turbinicarpus schmidtkianus. It's just a little tiny one, but doing well. Mammillaria camptotricha. Bird's nest cactus, because when you touch it, it feels like a bird's nest. Echinopsis carlochlora. Neoporteria. Species. This name evades me right now. We got some Focarias here. Cephala texensis. Mammillaria Perez della Rosa. What a nice one, huh? Here's my Epiphlantha microberus. Oroya peruviana. 2 Paracactus hematocanthus. The nice fish hooks on them. When I touch this one, it's spongy. Squish, 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 because it's dying for water. Sulcorbertia rauschii. And yep, I do have a seed growing but very small. Cochbeanus variocarpus. Just going to get some water today. One of my offsets off my Dodo cactus horseoi. And down here is a nice big Echinopsis hybrid, and since I've been using the ammonium sulfate, it has brought it out of its long sleep. It wouldn't really grow. Now it's growing like anything. The offsets are getting as big as the main plant. This is just another Cetospinus. This is a grafted Punaboniae. Up here, another Subinermis Echinopsis and Mammillaria nervosa, native to the Caribbean. And up here, this one's getting all soft and spongy, and I will give it a little bit of water, but be careful, Rebutio, because you could rot in this kind of weather. Got to make sure it gets cool at night before I water it thoroughly. And Mammillaria scripsiana. Watering will now start. Camera set up. You know what's going to happen after this? Guess what? I have to water the orchids. Which I'll be taking down off that top shelf. They won't be staying up there. I'm going to bring them down and water them pretty thoroughly. Alright, take this one down, give it some water. Best way to tell if your cacti need water or not is to pick your pot up. If it feels heavy, then it's still got a lot of moisture in it, and it still feels heavy after a week. You better have an inspection. Squeeze the sides of it and slowly slide it out without trying to disturb the root system, and have a good look in there. You never know what's going on. Okay. So it's in a very, very porous mix. And I'm going to give it a good water. I'm also going to water the top, because it gets sticky residue from its glands. It's got special modified glands that attract ants to give them nectar so that they build nests underneath these cacti. And in return, the ants protect Cetospinus from being attacked by predators. But it can get really sticky up there. So what I mean by that is, this camera off here. If you look in there, you will see little raised red bumps. They kind of look like, I don't know, insect eyes. They look like ocelli. Those three little tiny eyes in the middle of an insect's head. Well, they are the glands, and those things exude sticky nectar, and ants love them. In a collection, they can become mealybug city. So, what you want to do then is make sure that your plant doesn't get any infestations, because they will be really happy to be munching on this thing. If it goes back on its home. Getting wet feet too. All the water's pouring on my feet. Next, I think they're missing malaria, Pontotricha, Chenopsis, Alochlora, Hypogea, Schmidtkianus. Malaria, Pontotricha is draining in a lot of Academa. Next, Stapelias and some cacti right over there. Next we have my Stapelia giganteus, as you can see here. They've grown so much and got buds. This is an Orbea. An Orbea that has a flower bud. This is Unicornus. And this big monster that's flopping out everywhere. Look at that. So I'm going to have to tie it. Do a tie job on that. Because it's flopping out everywhere. I haven't got the space to keep such a monster. Oh, we gotta tie you up. See if this works. If I just tweak it up a bit. I need about this much string. I don't know if I can do this or not. It'd be easier to stake it. Twist ties. What am I doing? What am I doing? It's easier to just do this. No. Tie that to a piece that's already got stability. Kind of like that, right? They are thirsty. You need a lot of water again. This one. They're just flipping everywhere. to come up and then tie around here like this. Kind of messy, but you know, what can they do? All of these are going to get a good watering when I'm done. Watering will be coming up after I finish tying up this Stopelia here. So, be back in a minute. Okay, they're going to get water. I hope you enjoyed watching, and stay tuned for more updates coming. Updates on plants, see how their growth is going. Yep, this phone will be turning off soon, cutting off. This is it for today, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. This has got a lot of string tied on it to keep it together in a bundle. It is a monstrous one. It's been really thirsty too. Alright. If you have any questions, let me know about the plants, about watering and stuff like that, and what I use, and fertilizers, etc. And yep, this is how I water my cacti, and I hope you found this useful and it can help you. And until next time, see you, enjoy your plants, and don't forget that looking after your plants is not a chore. It's part of your self-care. And until next time, bye.